And welcome to the Kentucky Derby edition of And They're Off. Steve, look at this audience that's turned out to see if we're as good looking in person as we are on tape.
This is unbelievable. I mean, we got a regular crowd here. I mean, all you need is commercials and.
It looks like Derby Day.
Yeah, right.
Is it Saturday already?
Our own little corner of the Derby world here.
All right, we got a great show planned today. Steve, let's talk about a couple of trainers who almost didn't make it into this Derby. We've got D. Wayne Lukas, who just got in yesterday because Mark Valesky goes out. D. Wayne, an optimizer, goes in. Wayne is very happy to be here. The other trainer, Bob Baffert, is very happy to be anywhere after having a heart attack 2 months ago. The Derby just wouldn't be the Derby without these two guys, would it?
No, you got to remember that these were the Derby dynamos. Remember back in the 90s and the early 2000s, and everybody was saying this is what the Derby's all about. So Baffert is always here. Nobody gets a horse better prepared for the Kentucky Derby than Bob Baffert. So to have him here is great. You know, what he went through was kind of really weird and scary. As far as Wayne, Wayne is Wayne. I mean, you knew he was going to get in. He's too lucky not to get in. You know, and he actually thinks sometimes that his horse actually might have a shot to win. But he's one thing about Wayne, he's the eternal optimist.
Yeah. Thing about these guys, and people may not like them for this reason or that reason, there haven't been better ambassadors for this sport in the last 20 or 30 years than Wayne Lukas and Bob Baffert. I have not seen Bob Baffert ever turn down somebody. Oh, can I have an autograph? Can I take a picture? Can I do that? These guys are just incredible, no matter how many people come up to them in the course of a day.
Well, Wayne takes it even a step farther. He will go over to you and ask if you would like an interview with him. You know, Wayne, he's the first person to tell you, I don't like the attention, but he's always in front of that barn waiting for the crowds to show up.
I think does he tie Ben Jones with his next win? Wayne's got 4 Derby wins.
Yeah.
I think Ben Jones has 5.
Yep.
And Bob, of course, has 3. So it's great to see these guys here. We wish them nothing but the best. Right?
Correct.
All right. And I know you'll be picking all 3 of their horses. So.
Liaison.
Steve, it said that a workout over the Churchill Downs track is very important for Kentucky Derby hopefuls. This year, a little bit of a different story. What's going on out there?
I don't know. Everybody obviously is not listening to the statistic that 18 of the last 20 Derby winners have had at least one work over the track. So obviously that didn't faze Todd Pletcher at all, who kept both of his horses, you know, back down in Florida and working at Palm Meadows. And he was afraid to come up here because of the weather. So what happens, his final workout, the most important workout, gets washed out. He has to work him the next day in the mud. And El Padrino works in 53 and 1.
For 4 furlongs.
Right, for 4 furlongs. So much for his, for his strategy. Take Charge Indy, he was in Florida. He came up with the other 2 horses. Alpha came in late because of an infection. But, you know, if you ask those trainers, you know, they have an answer, okay? Gemologist is 2 for 2 over this track. Take Charge Indy had a bullet work before the Breeders' Cup last year. Right. Alpha has been over this track already. Hanson, who was another horse who's not here, he's won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Yeah. You know, and of course, Daddy Longlegs, who has been over this track itself, even though he didn't run very well. So all these horses who have not come here have been over the track before.
So does this start a whole new theory if one of these horses wins that
I hope
nobody
not.
Needs to train here on Derby Week?
I hope not. I mean, if that starts, it actually did start for a while. You remember when they had at Keeneland, everybody wanted to train over the poly track. Right. So every Derby horse was at Keeneland to train over the poly track. The only horse stable at Churchill Downs when I got here was Street Sense. After Street Sense won, everybody came back to Churchill Downs again.
Pretty soon we'll be sending you to Delaware Park to watch the Derby workouts.
Yeah, right.
You can hang out with these guys.
Well, that's the place. I mean, that's where they come from, you know?
All right. We like to have a lot of fun on this show. There's another guy in the Derby likes to have a lot of fun. He's the trainer of I'll Have Another, one of the California Invaders, Doug O'Neill. We caught up with Doug earlier. Stable boy, roll that tape of Doug O'Neill. We're here with trainer Doug O'Neill, who has I'll Have Another in the Kentucky Derby. Doug, you were here about 5 years ago with Liquidity and Great Hunter. Other than not having Steve Haskin train your horses this time around, what did you learn from that experience, and what kind of experience was it, and what are you doing differently now?
Well, you know, I think we learned that you got to stay the course with what got you here. And as I look back, the 2, Liquidity and Great Hunter, I think I personally was just so thrilled to get here.
Yeah.
And you know, I did the old bubble wrap training, just not a lot, and just tried to just keep him sound and happy and get him there. And this time around, we've kept the strong gallops. We've kept, you know, his normal exercise that's got him here. And you know, for some reason he has a couple bad days of practice and he can't run, then so be it. So we're taking a more aggressive and consistent approach, and so far so good.
What was the thinking behind the 8 weeks between the Lewis and the Santa Anita Derby?
Well, you know, he ran so huge in the Lewis, and I think we all just said, wow, after being off for 5 months and to run that kind of race, the common sense said he would need a little extra time to recover, even though he came out of it good, but in reality it was still a monster effort. And he had the Grade 1 Santa Anita Derby right in our own backyard in 9 weeks, and that just made all the sense. So it's actually worked out good, because we've got, you know, the 5 months and we had the 9 weeks, now we got 4 weeks, so he's kind of really rounded in, we hope, into a top effort, and hopefully it's here.
Your brother Dennis bought this horse for $35,000 at a sale in Florida. Suffice it to say, there wasn't a bidding war going on here. Do you ever talk to Dennis and say, what the heck were you thinking?
Pretty much on a daily basis I do that. You know, we're normal brothers where we call each other idiots a lot, and normally he is an idiot. So, but this particular one, he landed on one, and you know, he runs tons of horses by Paul Redham. He won't tell you that. And Paul knocks down the majority of them. And but if he runs one by Paul, out of respect for Dennis, will look it up and check it out. And this happened to be one he thought he liked the, you know, the Chris S on the bottom side, and Flower Alley, you know, thought there was still potential there. He liked his way of going, so he said, all right, Dennis, I'll jump on this one. So Paul has been such a huge supporter of us, and he's just he's a very successful guy, big owner, but he's a huge fan of the game. And you know, I can't say enough about having the opportunity to win a Derby with Paul and Zilla.
Dennis says you don't discuss things, you usually argue things.
Yeah, and I'm usually right. And yeah, you know, Dad, we're definitely, even though we're full brothers, I still think my mom might have blew the turn a little bit, and there might have been a mailman somewhere involved in one of us. But you know, we are wired differently, and Dennis is more of an intense guy, and I like to kind of have a more laid-back approach, and you know, realize that, you know, from the hot walker to the groom to the shoer to everybody, it takes all of us to stay positive and do the right thing, and you know, if we got a horse with talent, I think we can get him there.
The training regimen of this horse, is that the way you normally train? Because compensate for the 8 weeks, I mean, 6 furlongs, 7 furlongs, a mile going out, 7 furlongs, and going out a mile. That's the old-fashioned way of training. You don't see that too often anymore.
I know, yeah, you know, it's what's got us here, and we take the approach with all the exercise riders that, you know, as they finish up their gallop, let them put their feet where they want to put them. And to me, it teaches them how to breathe, how they need to breathe in a racing atmosphere. And knock on wood, it just keeps them sounder too, to not fight them and force them to put their feet somewhere. And you know, as you do read some of these horse Derby winners from way back when, you know, they'd work every 5 days. God, I was just reading about a horse that won the Derby, and then was at Assault, and then won a race between the Derby and the Preakness. And I mean, they just ran a lot. So we don't do a lot of speed workouts, but we do a lot of letting them clip along good. And so far it's working. Hopefully it works this Saturday.
Well, there you go. Doug will be looking for a steak in Belmont in between the Derby and the Preakness, and and Peter Pan, and then the Belmont. So if we get the Triple Crown, we'll win 7 races in 5 weeks. Doug, good luck Saturday. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.
All right, these horse races are not beauty shows yet. A lot of people spend a lot of attention on who is looking good physically. Steve, besides you, which of the horses that you've seen this week are looking well?
I mean, besides me, which of the other horses?
That's right.
Well, you know, I came down here hoping to clear things up a bit with this muddled picture by seeing these horses train. I'm more confused now than I was before, because most of these horses really look good. And some, you know, a couple of horses that really, to me, look terrific. Daddy Knows Best is a big long shot. Love the way he's been galloping. Love the way he looks. See him graze every afternoon. Love the way he worked the other day. He looks like a horse who's just coiled and ready. You know, not high. He's a high-energy horse, but not over the top. I think he's ready for a big race. I'll have another. Loving this racetrack. He's a very high galloping horse. I mean, he gallops a 2-minute licking. It looks like he open gallops. He's obviously took immediate liking to this track, so he's looking good. Union Rags this morning really washed out. Union Rags was sweating badly under the saddle cloth and on his neck. I didn't see him in Florida, so I don't know if he did, if he trained that way. Sometimes horses do that. But those two horses, I think, if you're looking for two long shots, especially Daddy Knows Best, and should I leave your tape?
Leave it out.
I'll leave yours. Okay.
The other one I was going to mention, which is kind of ironic because he's had nothing but health problems all season, is Alpha, who has been out on the track the last couple of days and looks very well out on the track, I thought.
Yeah, he was yesterday. He was bouncing off the racetrack and gawking at the crowd. You know, just taking everything in.
Yeah.
A lot of times horses will come here and they'll be gawking at the track a lot, and takes them a day or two before they get used to it, and then they settle down and become a lot more professional. And he was today, but you know, yesterday you could just see when he was bouncing off the track, he was just looking at everybody in the over the rail. So yeah, but you know, he's a little horse and he's very narrowly made, but he's an interesting horse. Horse.
Okay, audience, it's trivia time. You guys ready? We got a lot of Darby Dan hats to give out. Oh, they're ready. Look at this crowd. Look at this energy. All right, we got the whole thing going on. Okay, we're going to start with an easy one here. Who won last year's Kentucky Derby?
Animal Kingdom.
Two
Hats.
Two hats here. All right, we've got Calvin Burrell in this race. How many derbies has Calvin Burrell won in the last 5 years?
Three.
All right,
Hats. Hats all around.
Two Panthers.
All right, let's get our Delaware guys here. Yeah, we got an easy one. The answer's right up there.
I'm going to ask this
All
question.
Right,
who won the 1892 Derby?
82 was Apollo.
Yeah, I want to know 92.
75 was Aristides.
All right, how many years have they been running the Derby?
138.
Give these guys hats. That's just right up there. All right, young lady. Here's your Derby pick. Who do you like in the Derby?
I like Union Rags.
Union Rags.
Union.
Union?
Union.
Couple of hats here. I like Union Rags. Who's your pick in the Derby?
I'll have another.
I'll have a
All
That's
right.
good for
All
a
right.
hat. That's a hat right here.
She'll have another hat here.
All right, very good. Who do you like in the Derby, sir?
Don't know.
Don't know.
Haven't picked yet. Number 6.
Want a hat or not?
I have a hat.
How do you get a hat? Wait a second. All right, Darby Dan hats all around. Very good. Anybody else need a hat? Who wants a pick here? All right, very good. Thank you to Darby Dan for their hats.
We only gave away the brown ones. Look at it. Look at the
Well,
nice,
I know, but those
the
are Blood Horse hats. We can keep those. All right, it's time to pick the Kentucky Derby winner, Steve. One horse, one name. Give it a ride.
I don't do it that way.
Give it a ride.
Well, all right.
Pick your top one first, because I'm cutting you off after that.
Let me get it out. I've had Creative Cause on top all year. I'd be nuts to go off him now. I want to see him school. He washed out in the paddock yesterday. I want to see him school again.
By the way,
but
you
I'm
are
not gonna-
nuts, so feel free to change your mind if you want.
No, I don't change my mind.
Okay.
But I gave you. Listen, I gave you my
Cause.
long shots to watch.
Creative Cause.
Daddy, Creative Cause. That's
Okay,
it. All right.
And Daddy Longlegs as your.
Not Daddy Longlegs. Daddy knows
There's
best.
too many daddies here.
Yeah.
Who's your daddy?
Princess and Kitten's horse.
All right, very good. All right, to the shocking surprise of everybody, my pick is going to be Take Charge Indy. Looked lovely on the track today. Looks like his mother, Take Charge Lady. His daddy wasn't too bad either. Calvin Burrell gave me a thumbs up when he walked off. I think it was the thumb.
He gave it to you.
I think it was the thumb. I don't think it was the middle finger. I think it was the thumb.
Let me ask you a question. If it wasn't an AP Indy, would you think he looks great on the track?
Don't ask me that question. All right, Stable Boy, who you got in the Kentucky Derby? Who's the winner? Look at the crowd's all turning to Stable Boy now. They're hanging on every syllable here.
The pressure is on you.
With so many good-looking horses, I actually have an angle on this one. It's the owner recognized me angle. I'm going with Bodemeister. Ahmed Zayat recognized me at the barn. He didn't kick me out. That's who I'm going with.
By the way, if he wins, you get absolutely no credit for that reasoning. None.
Yeah, we're going to wipe that pick right off the face of the video. All right, Stable Boy goes with Bodemeister. We'll see. It's probably as good as any. All right, everybody have a great Derby. We want to thank our viewers. We want to thank our live audience here. Give yourselves a round of applause. You guys have been great. Want to thank our sponsor, Darby Dan Farm, for their hats. Want to thank you for being here.
Well, I thank you too, and I'm thank me for being here too.
All right. Have a great Derby, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye-bye.